We're on.
Okay, it says we're on.
Wait, I'm unprepared. Oh, dear.
Okay, is anybody like, it still says waiting for us on here. But then it says it's live on YouTube. Hold on. Okay. Shit. I just had issue after issue today. Okay, everybody. I want to start off by saying we have finally finished a book. And it took over a year to do a book because, like I've explained many times on the show, the first thing we were doing was reviews after each show for last season. Well, then we just wanted it to continue. So we turned it into a book club. And we're finally on our last chapter of Game of Thrones, which is awesome. We also have a guest tonight. We're just waiting on them. Reed, can you text them and see if they've got their invite or what's up? Uh-oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, friends and neighbors.
All right, there's Brian.
Sorry, you guys. I spilled coffee on my
It's all right.
Are you okay? Did you burn yourself?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, phew.
Okay, everybody. So as everybody knows, tonight is Daenerys Daenerys 10, chapter 72, which is the last chapter in A Game of Thrones. It coincides beautifully with season 1, episode 10, as far as what goes on in that episode. We do have a guest. We have Dawg from the Dawg Show. And we're just going to wait on him for 1 second. And let me just give everybody 1 second to go to the bathroom, go get a cocktail or just a regular drink. And let's give him a minute to get on here.
Are we live?
We are.
We're live. Not Memorex. Or is it Memorex? You don't know.
Hey, by the way. Hi, everybody.
Hola, Chiquita. Hello. And how are you, Ree? And Bran?
I'm doing a lot better today.
Oh, that's good.
I brought my fire and my bud, so I'm fully prepared for this chapter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sister.
Yes.
And hello, wait. Oh, you know what? You know what I'll do while we're waiting? How about I say hello to some people in the chat and actually try to pay attention.
The chat.
I'm not making promises, but look I can do this right now. So,
all right.
Peace and love, you guys. Check it out. Look at me with my bad self. Look at me with my bad self saying hello to the chat in a timely fashion. Hello to Free Vengeance and Dawg and Lady Wolverton. Hey. And hello to Kerri McDonald. Mwah.
And Matt.
Hello, Matt.
All right. Still
hello,
no Dawg.
Hello, Nancy T. Oh, by gosh and by golly, I believe it's a celebration. Here's to the final chapter. The final chapter. Okay, Matthew, tell me what song that is. Go ahead. You know I don't know the name of it. The final countdown. Of course I do. It's in the words.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, Dawg is going to come on shortly.
Okay, cool.
Difficulties. And oops.
When you get on,
he's having difficulties as well. I had a lot of difficulties, you guys, and I apologize for that.
You know what?
Nancy T says, can't wait. First of all, let's shout the chat out. Dawg is in the chat. Dawg, I understand you're having difficulties. I've never had this issue myself.
I have issues.
We're all going to have to quit using Hangouts as far as I can tell.
Hang on. I think you're having problems with his email. I'm going to copy it and paste it.
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you two things, actually.
No, it came up the Dawg Show.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Number one,
But copy it and
Number
paste
one,
it
I'll
if you
tell
feel
you.
like I did it wrong.
I was just.
am
Oh,
difficult.
that ain't it.
That's true. And number two, I do have issues. I'm just saying. Today was a humdinger of a day, though. How about that? How about this Friday Eve? Whew, doggy. When I say humdinger, I'm not even really sure. I'm trying to spin it. That's me spinning a day. It was a day. It was a day. All right. It was just a day. Isn't that in the story? Any other day, like any other day.
Tell us the story if you'd like.
Oh, I don't. Brandy, you know a story? I love stories.
No, what about your day, girl?
Oh, goodness gracious, me? All right. Well, today my teacher was back and
I got that.
the other para was back, and then we had a moderator come in to tell me that I could talk it out with somebody I really didn't want to talk it out with, but then I found out that everything could be voluntary, so I believe that my decision will be to volunteer, not to have a meeting.
Right. Why should you? You didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly. And Ollie, Bubba, how are you, friend? Sorry, that was a total squirrel. But
100%. There's an invitation posted, dog.
Did you get it? Did you get it right? Did you get it right?
Did you get it?
Get it. And Nancy T, hello.
There you are.
Hey.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on.
Is that my good
I've
friend,
been wanting
Dawg
to have
Sidious?
on forever. And for as much as my YouTube personality, I'm actually very shy. And also I hate rejection, just like any other normal person. So I knew Moni was the closest to you out of the whole group. So I asked Moni, hey,
so you know what I did?
Dawg
Reach out.
Yes, for our last chapter of the first book, which is very special to all of us. So with that, we'll go ahead and start. So it's Daenerys 10, chapter 72, the last chapter of A Game of Thrones. And I just want to go ahead and let Dawg introduce himself because he's the guest. In the links, I didn't have all of his links, but I can add them later, but his email is in there.
All right. And yeah, thanks for having me, folks. And yeah, I'm Dawg Sidious from the Dawg Show, folks. I do entertainment news, Game of Thrones, Star Wars a little bit. I've been starting a series recently, Dog Days of History. So I kind of go over the highlights in history that happened on the current date. So that's been kind of fun. I just started that last week. So, and yeah, I turned my hardware accelerators off, and that let me pop in. So I think we're all good now. So
yeah,
looking forward to
and
getting
I'll
into
tell you,
this
Dawg,
here,
I'm not sure what's going on. I've never had this, but I actually have a thing that says there was an error loading your app. The app did not load because there appears to be something wrong, but it's still allowing us to broadcast. So I'm just going to have to run a systems check after. The computer was fine all day, you know. I think basically, though, we're all just going to have to get away from Hangouts, and that's the bottom line.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, Brittany, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Girl. All right. I'll just make sure. I'm Revengeance. Hey, everybody. I'm Melissa. Depends where you find me at. Yeah, I'm just really excited to do this. So I'm just gonna say, hey, you can find me everywhere, any social media. Come check us out. Me and Branwick will be doing some Harry Potter stuff this week.
Awesome!
Wow,
I love Harry Potter.
I know
Harry Potter stuff. Just that whole world.
Okay? Hey, you know what? I like stuff.
That's why I'm calling them out right now. Yeah, we're gonna start doing that every week too. Awesome. And we actually are going to be doing I don't know, I'll let him tell you which one, but I think we're doing the 7 next. We did like the werewoods and all before, but we're going to like continue doing like the different religions too for acolytes. So I'll let him tell you on that one when we get to Brand. So yeah, but we're doing fun stuff. And then of course,
sounds awesome. Sounds great.
Okay, because I'm a vocabulary nerd, will you define acolytes for me? I was an acolyte.
I was
an acolyte in church, and that meant I let lit the candles at the front of the church, but I want a definition because I like definitions and words.
It's like a student.
Yeah, like you're an acolyte before.
Well, so that would be so.
Yeah, it's someone that's learning about
almost like an apprenticeship.
Okay, but but to say question is acolyte student redundant?
It's more like for
this
purpose, but we study a Song of Ice and Fire.
Honestly, you guys don't have to like tell me the I'm just curious, honestly, of the real definition, and I can look it up. But like, I dig what you're saying. You're just talking about like kind of for novices.
Yeah, actually, when I think about it, think about it in like different levels, like of graduation, like as you would in college and stuff like that, like because you think about like with the Masons, they start out as
Google definition for Moni.
Okay, yes, please do, because I really am curious.
The celebrant in a religious service or procession, an assistant or follower. She runs the department through a small group of acolytes. A synonym: assistant, helper, attendant, retainer, servant, minion, underling, lackey, henchman, follower, disciple, supporter, shadow, sidekick, dog, groupie, hanger-on, liege.
Sweet. I love sidekicks. I mean,
I got 2 minions in the house.
I think it could be a bad thing or a good thing, I guess.
Okay, well, when I lit the church lit the candles at the front of the church, it was totally a good thing. I got to wear a little robe, looked all angelic.
Hey, Septa. Hey, Kerri. Okie doke. Okay. Who's going next? Moni, you want to?
I guess because I interrupted, I could go next. Oh, sorry. I'm Moni G, and you can find me nowhere, only here on Thursday nights in Lady Wolverton's Wolf Den, and that's her name, y'all. It's not just a place. Ow! And we just finished our first book, chapter by chapter. Woo, 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 woo. So everybody do a little happy dance for us.
That's right.
All right. And cheers, y'all.
All right, Bran.
Down to it. Bran, your turn.
Hey, you guys. You can find me on Facebook or Amino. And as far as Ree was saying, she's going to let me tell you what's coming next. We have The Faith of the Seven and some people wanting to do some Blackwoods. So I don't know which one's going to come next, depending on, when everyone's ready or not.
Oh yeah, the Blackwood, very good. Yeah, we got coming up with Stacy and all. Yeah, very good.
Yeah. Before we get into this chapter, I want to talk about something I did today. Today, I watched the movie The Favorite, which is about Queen Anne of Great Britain. Okay, and she was actually, I think, the first queen after Elizabeth Tudor. So it was quite a bit. And she never expected to be queen. It was kind of like how Elizabeth II now, her parents were actually the Duke and Duchess of York, which is always the second in line after the king's children. But the king died childless. Her sister was married to William of Orange, and they ruled for a time. And then it came to Anne. And the entire movie is about the Duchess of Marlborough, who had grown up with Anne and was very much her favorite. But the movie was about she brings, her name was Sarah. She brings her cousin in, who then kind of usurps her place and becomes the favorite. But then it not only shows how favoritism blows like the wind, it changes like the wind blows, which I think very much you can see in this chapter with Daenerys, and just how fast, when things went bad for her, so many people abandoned her, and favor blows with the wind. And then in the movie The Favorite, the girl tells Sarah, her cousin, I won, didn't I? And she said, did you? And then, you know, the last scenes of the movie are basically of her being the queen's favorite, I think what's considered the mistress of the bedchamber, when you have the key to the queen's room and, you know, unadulterated access to her and everything. But it looked far more like a burden than, you know, an honor. So, you know, and then basically she ended up choosing the one girl over the other because she found out Sarah had been kind of using her power and she didn't appreciate that. But then she didn't appreciate Sarah's cousin being the messenger who let her know that her best friend had kind of been taking advantage of her situation and power of being her best friend. So it ended up being a really bad situation for her in the end. And I think that's where Daenerys is in this chapter. You know, she's been abandoned by everybody, with the exception of her handmaidens and Jorah Mormont and a few of the old and young of the Dothraki. And there's a fine line between a friend who tells you the truth for good and a friend that tells you the truth for their good, you know, or to make themselves feel superior to you, as Tyrion tells Jon earlier in the book, as we learn. And the chapter opens with them preparing a funeral pyre for Drogo. Okay, and Dany plans to do the ceremony herself. And the way she prepares Drogo's body, to me, was almost very ritualistic. Washing his hair, putting in the gold, the bronze, and the silver bells, giving him the last kiss, killing the best horse they had, so that he'd have a horse in the afterlife. They kind of almost have beliefs like Vikings or the Egyptians. Like around the pyre, you put things they would take with them in their afterlife. She braids his hair, oils his hair, bells his hair, dresses him in his horsehair, you know, pants and his favorite painted vest. And she dresses very similar. And then she puts all the possessions he loved the best around him. Then she puts the dragon eggs around him. Drogon under his arm nearest his heart. The cream and gold dragon, I think Viserion in between his legs. And then the other dragon, the green and I can't remember the other color, puts it by his head. And, you know, then she asked everybody to bleed. She asked AGoT, Jogo, and Ricaro to be her blood riders. And they all turned her down. And they all wanted to put her bride gifts on the pyre, but she was like, no, those are mine and I'm keeping them. And she give them to the people she has to be her blood riders. And everybody said no, with the exception of Jorah Mormont. And she said, I have no bride gift to give you. And I think this is very interesting. But I promise you, when we retake the 7 kingdoms, I will give you a long sword made of Valyrian steel forged with dragon fire. And I think that's very interesting that she says that. And of course, Jorah swears allegiance to her, not only offering his loyalty, but his heart. But he's constantly trying to talk her into going to Yeti, Ashai, Far East. And then he's like, you don't plan on going in that pyre, do you? Because she's freaking him out, and she grabs him and gives him a kiss and says she knows what she's doing. And it's almost like she has, to me, I read it like she almost has an inherent knowledge for what she's doing. And I think Miriam Asdor even realizes she's doing a ritual and she didn't even know what the hell she's doing, you know? So there's 3 levels to the pyre. And when they built the pyre, they have it facing east and west, and then north and south. And his head is faced, I think, northeast towards the sun. And they're waiting for the sun to go down and the first star to appear, which is very interesting because the first star we get, and I believe this is also the first mention of the comet in the book. So fewer than 100 Dothraki stayed. She addressed them, said, you know, if you stay with me, you'll stay as my people, as my Khalasar, as my family. If you're slaves, take off your collars. You can go. Nobody will stop you. And a lot of people go. Fewer than 100 stayed. And like I said, all the Blood Riders turned her down to be Queen's Guard, except Jorah Mormont and her handmaidens stayed true to her. And Dany realizes that they think she's crazy. She goes in her tent to get ready, though, and prepares Drogo for the service, like I said, prepares herself, and then lights the pyre, places the dragon eggs. Then she binds Mirri Maz Duur to the pyre and pours oil over her and Drogon, and Daenerys thanks her. She says she thanks her for all her many lessons and says, and Mirri Maz Duur says to her, I will not scream. And Dany says, you will, but I don't want your screams. I want your life. Remember, death, only death may pay for life. And weirdly, that's kind of a Sansa parallel. And then as they're waiting for the night so that the first star must be seen, they see the comet and she feels it's a sign. The pyre's lit, Mirri burns and she begins to sing. Then as it gets hotter and hotter, all her followers have to move away. And she does go in and you hear a loud crack. And it's interesting to me because in the flames she sees, the last thing she sees are a wolf, a bird, and then a flower. She goes closer to the fire, and then there's 3 cracks heard. And after the first crack, she almost feels like she sees Drogo on a horse with a whip in his hand, the whip his father gave him. And he is happy. And she hears 3 cracks. And when the pyre basically goes out, she's naked, covered in a suit, hair singed. The cream and gold dragon is on her left breast. The green dragon is on her right breast. Drogon is on her shoulder. Jorah, the Blood Riders, and the handmaidens, and what's left of the Khalasar all bow down. And for the first time in hundreds of years, the night came alive with the sound of dragons. And that's where basically it leaves off and everything goes. Dawg, what do you think about this chapter? And did you see anything particularly special in it? Or is there a quote that you think really, you know, speaks something? I think it's very interesting about before he killed the horse, he fed him a shriveled up apple, which we get that shriveled apple symbology later when Jon is feeding the people of the wall. But then we also get the symbology of her in the flames, seeing a wolf, a bird, and then a flower.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I was digging through. I was trying to find the all those colors for you. But yeah, it's pretty interesting chapter. Of course, I think like in the beginning, you know, as they're getting the things ready, as you had talked about how she's getting the ritual ready, right? And then Mirri Maz Duur is sitting there going, and she doesn't know what she's doing, you know. And then she starts like actually kind of pleading to her, you know, let me help you, things of that nature, right? But Dany knows exactly what she's doing. She knows she's got to prove her strength to her Blood Riders, basically, right? Because pretty much the Blood Riders are kind of telling her, look, we'll take you safely to the Dosh Khaleen, right? But after that, we're not going to follow a woman, right? Only Jorah, really, right?
Right.
He calls her princess, and she gets really pissed off, right? Because she's like, look, I'm freaking queen now, right? You know, you were sworn to serve my brother who is no longer the heir. I'm the, you know, and then all of a sudden he switches it to queen, and then he calls her Khaleesi at times too, right? But also as that that fire is burning, I also noticed like Jorah's the only one she kind of hears that's screaming, right? And she's like, hey, my good night. It's gonna be fine. She's got this under control, basically, right? You don't hear the other Blood Riders saying anything, right? Until like after, like I think like they talk about Jorah finds her, right? But the first words are, I believe it's AGoT or Jogo. And to get back to my point about that Mary Mazdor, when she was pleading kind of to help her, Danny's like, I've had enough of your braying, and she has Jogo whip her and then shuts her up. And that's like, I think that's about all we hear from her, other than, you're not going to hear me scream, right? But back to the end point here, the Dothraki guys, right? You hear them first say, blood of my blood, blood of my blood, blood of my blood. Whereas before, when she was in the fire, she didn't hear them. She could only hear Jorah, right? And then of course, Jorah lays down his sword. And but it's also interesting too that she did promise Jorah a Valyrian steel made sword forged by dragonfire.
Exactly, and that's the first time.
We're probably going to see those dragons eventually forge some Valyrian steel for us. Also, the cracking of the eggs, I think we could hear.
We get 3 cracks definitive in the chapter, I mean, you don't know for sure what they are, but we do. We get 3 cracks. But yeah, on this reread is the first time I caught that, she had already given away the other bride gifts to the 3 Dothraki. So she didn't have anything to give Jorah, but she did. She promised him a long sword of Valyrian steel forged with dragon fire. And that in this reread, that was the first time I noticed that.
She said that was her family's right, too. That was her right now. It was her birthright. Because now, with her brother dead, it was now her birthright.
Right.
So it made me think of Blackfire is what she was promising.
And then I wanted to mention one other thing, is it's actually in bold print, right? How she talks about it being a wedding.
Yes.
Right. And also, how she talks about, how she basically, I think she she's almost like embraces the fire, right? She's basically saying, I am fire, kind of like a Smog reference, right? Or, but I think she had come to grips that she was totally in control of the situation, and she was going to show those Dothraki the strength that they needed to see. So, and with that, I'll shut up and let somebody else speak.
No, you're absolutely good. But she does. She compares it to a wedding. And also, we get several times in this chapter, as in Daenerys 9, if I look back, I am lost. Like we said, it's almost like she has an inherent understanding for what she needs to do. And she's not going to tell anybody. She doesn't want anybody to try to talk her out of it. And she knows they think she's crazy. But several times in the chapter, we get that quote, if I look back, I am lost.
And she was for sure talking like she knew she was coming out of it.
Right. She had no, in fact, when she kisses Jorah, she tells him, I promise you, I am good.
She said, I'm going to hold you to those vows, to those oaths or whatever.
Right.
It was kind of like she was invoking different aspects of the 7 too. Like she mentioned the maiden, the mother, and the crone. She mentioned the warrior. And
that's another thing. She says, you probably know this. She says in there that she is the sister, the mother, and the
child,
the wife of the dragon.
Yeah. She's been the child.
That points to her marrying John. It really does.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about? She calls herself the mother.
Are you talking about this part right here where she's like, no, my good knight, do not fear for me. The fire is mine. I am Daenerys Stormborn, daughter of dragons, bride of dragons, mother of dragons. Don't you see? Don't you see? Is that the part you're talking about?
That's not the part I'm talking about. I'm talking about where she's talking about that she's addressing the Dothraki, and she's saying that, you know, I see mothers and I see children and mothers and old women. I've been a child, I've been a mother, and one day I'll be an old woman. And it was, she was talking about the mother, the maiden, and the crone. And then she addresses the warriors after that. And then she gives different bride gifts to the different coats.
That's a good catch. So she references, I think inadvertently, she did a ritual.
Oh, no, I definitely think so, especially with the oils. And I actually looked up about the oils, trying to figure out what they were. And all I could find out is that they were Western oils that were reminded her of home with the red door. But it said home with the red door, and they were Western oils out of Western Market. So that makes me think Westeros, not Bravos, because they would be bought at the Eastern Market. Just want to say that. Yeah. And then I also went and I got curious if there was any kind of oil that was not flammable, if maybe that was why she did not burn and her hair burned. She was in oils. And no, there's no oil that is not flammable. They all are. Like, I was finding all kinds of, no. The answer is no. They're all flammable. So, yeah, she definitely did a ritual. And even like with the branches, she peeled the branches. And
the particular wood they talked about they got seemed like
it was like, what?
The particular, they said the foragers weren't able to find much, but what they did bring back was gnarled cottonwood, purple brush, sheaves of brown grass. They took the two citrus trees, hacked the limbs and branches from them, skinned off their bark, split them, laying the logs in a square. In its center, they filled it with straw, brush, and bark shavings, bundles of dry grass. Ricardo chose a stallion from the small herd that remained to him. He was not the equal of Khal Drogo's red, but few horses were. In the center of the square, AGoT fed him a withered apple and dropped him in an instant with an axe blow between the eyes.
And the purple reminded me of Valeria. The grass reminded me of the Dothraki. The stallion obviously reminded me of just, I don't even know anymore with the stallion, because that makes me think of a few different things actually. So I'm not even going to address that right now. Because the red stallions can make me think of bitter still. They can make me think of war, and they can make me think of just Targaryens in general.
Lord Destin's big red horse.
Yeah. So it can just go different ways, or or war in general, So yeah, that's why I try not to think about that one. But I've seen a lot of that. But whenever they peeled the bark off the limbs, I thought about weirwood trees, and it's like they kind of invoked all the gods. And then when seeing everything in the fire going into it, I thought of course of R'hllor. But it literally was like she invoked all the gods when she did everything. And then
right. That's what I'm saying. She definitely inadvertently and just through some kind of Targaryen sense, I feel like she did
it. Yeah, that's why Mary got mad, because Mary realized it too. Because as soon as she said only death can pay for life, that was the first time she looked scared, and she knew then that she had figured it out. And then she was like, "Oh shit," and she knew what it was then, and it just kind of messed her up. I'm gonna kick your ass. Sorry, my husband was being silly at the window trying to make me mess, but he did.
I think that definitely comes into play, especially with I think the second crack that she hears, right? Because I think she tells herself only death may pay for life, or right before that second crack. I think that kind of comes into play. So kind of what you're alluding to.
Yeah, and she also talks about how the wise, when she tries to talk about the madness, about how the Magi is being wise, and it's like she knows that Dany knows at that point, and she just has an old shit moment, and with the different cracks too, and where the eggs were placed. I think that's important.
Very much so.
Yeah, and I've been thinking this whole time, okay, the Viserion egg, maybe it's Dorne, maybe it is Dorne, maybe Quentin is alive, but now thinking maybe it's because Jon Snow was born at the Tower of Joy in Dorne, because it makes me think of the Dornish colors. I don't know, I just associate it with Dorne. Viserion, I do, and that's the one that was placed, right there at his jump,
Yeah, and it certainly was placed at his jump. What do you say about that? One is placed under his arm by his heart, one up by his head, and one in between his legs.
Right. And I'm
wait, stop, time out, because you girls brought it up, and Rhea, it'll still be your turn. But yeah,
go ahead.
Why'd you put the dragon egg there? The question mark. Then she wanted to go in and basically hump him one last time. What? Did he die with a Woody?
Like some necromancy. Yeah, I when I was reading the chapter again, I felt that. Because God talks about kissing him.
Was before this was to make sure he was completely dead.
I know, but I'm just saying, a girl can't, there was no left can't do that with a guy. It's
not he was
if they're dead.
Comatose at the time rather than dead.
No. This was in the ceremony. She had already killed him.
Yeah, she killed him last chapter.
Right, she did. She did the pillow at the end of the last chapter.
Right, but in this chapter, she was just like, I want to go on one last time, and then she was talking to herself. It was when she was doing that whole inner monologue thing. It was and when she was arguing, what struck me at that single point was wait, you're telling everybody. Well, and then it was maybe you are going in a girl and leaving a woman, because FYI, woman, you can't do that. Only a little girl would think they could still hump their dead husband. Sorry. That's all.
Well, you noticed that she was talking about everybody's black eyes too. How all of a sudden everybody had black eyes.
Miri Mazdor especially. And here's the part, and this is what I'm talking about just her innate sense to do this. She had sensed the truth of it long ago. Dany thought as she took a step closer to the conflagration, but the brazier had not been hot enough. The flames writhed before her like the woman who had danced at her wedding, whirling and singing and spinning, their yelling orange and crimson veils, fearsome to behold, yet lovely, so lovely, alive with heat. Dany opened her arms to them, her skin flushed and glowing. This is a wedding, too, she thought. Miri Mazdor had fallen silent. The god's wife thought her a child, but children grow and children learn.
That's why she's bright of fire.
And I know, but it was still that was weird how she said she wanted to go hook up with them. And I thought that was a very girl thing to say. That was really more my point. It was wait a second. Here you're putting on your queen pants, right? You're no longer the princess. You're putting on your queen pants, and but then that thought crosses your mind. But then it was okay, but when you leave that, you will be a woman, and good, because you're not going to be, at least I hope, trying to hook up with any dead guys, because sorry, it doesn't work.
Jen,
here's the thing. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, Jen, I want to hear you read the paragraph after the one that you just read.
Okay, this one.
That's so sick. That's
another step, and Dany could feel the heat of the sand on the soles of her feet. Even through her sandals, sweat ran down her thighs and between her breasts, and in the rivulets over her cheeks, where tears had once run. Sir Jorah was shouting behind her, but he did not matter anymore. Only the fire mattered. The flames were so beautiful, the loveliest things she had ever seen. Each one a sorcerer robed in yellow and orange and scarlet. swirling long, smoky cloaks. She saw crimson fire lions and great yellow serpents and unicorns made of pale blue flames. She saw fish and foxes, monsters, wolves, and bright birds and flowering trees, each more beautiful than the last. She saw a horse, a great gray stallion, glimed in smoke, its flowing mane a nimbus of blue flame. Yes, my love, my sun and stars. Yes, mount now, ride now. Her vest had begun to smolder, so Dani shrugged it off and let it fall to the ground. The painted leather burst in a sudden flame as she skipped closer to the fire, her breast bare to the blaze, streams of milk flowing from her red and swollen nipples. Now, she thought, now. And for an instant, she glimpsed Khal Drogo before her, mounted on his smoky stallion, a flaming lash in his hand. He smiled, and the whip snaked down at the pyre, hissing. She heard a crack, the sound of shattering stone. The platform of wood and brush and grass began to shift and collapse upon itself. Bits of burning wood slid down at her, and Dani was showered with ash and cinders, and something else came crashing down, bouncing, rolling, to land at her feet. A chunk of curved rock, pale and veined with gold, broken and smoking. The roaring filled the world, yet dimly through the firefall, Dani heard women shriek and children cry out in wonder. Only death can pay for life. And then there came a second crack, loud and sharp as thunder, and the smoke stirred and whirled around her, and the pyre shifted. The logs exploding at the fire touched their secret hearts. She heard the screams of frightened horses, and the voices of the Dothraki raised in shouts of fear and terror, and Ser Jorah calling her name, cursing. No, she wanted to shout down. No, my good knight, do not fear for me. The fire is mine. I am Daenerys Stormborn, daughter of dragons, bride of dragons, mother of dragons. Don't you see? Don't you see? With a belch of flame and smoke that reached 30 feet into the sky, the pyre collapsed and came down around her. Unafraid, Dani stepped forward into the firestorm, calling to her children. The third crack was as loud as the breaking of the world. And when the fire died at last, and the ground became cool enough to walk upon, Ser Jorah Mormont found her amidst ashes, surrounded by blackened logs and bits of glowing ember and burnt bones of man and woman and stallion. And she was naked, covered in soot, her clothes turned to ash, her beautiful hair all crisped away, yet she was unhurt. The cream and gold dragon was suckling at her left breast, the green and bronze at her right, and her arms cradled them close. The black and scarlet beast was draped across her shoulders, its long, sinuous neck coiled around her chin. When it saw Jorah, it raised its head and looked at him with eyes as red as coals. Wordless, the knight fell to his knees. The men of her cause came up behind him. Drogo was the first to lay his arak at her feet. Blood of my blood, he murmured, pushing his face to the smoky earth. Blood of my blood, she heard Ago echo. Blood of my blood, Ricaro shouted. And after them came her handmaids, and then the others, all the Dothraki men, women, and children. And Dani had only to look at their eyes to know they were hers now, today, tomorrow, and forever. Hers, as they had never been Drogo's. As Daenerys Targaryen rose to her feet, her black hissed pale smoke venting from its mouth and nostrils. The two pulled away from her breast and added their voices to the call, translucent wings unfolding and stirring the air. And for the first time in hundreds of years, the night came alive with the music of dragons. Okay, here's my question.
And drink one if you got one.
I was doing it.
That was well done, my girlfriend.
Thank
well
you.
done. Well done.
Not Asha, but her name escapes me at the time. Dawg, help me out. The wildling who is, as we speak, a prisoner at Winterfell, still in chains, who helps Bran, who says that comment means one thing: dragons.
Oh, Osha.
Osha.
Yeah, not Asha, Osha. Yeah. How many of you guys think she got it right? And that is what that comment means. I mean, it was the first time it was seen after the first crack.
I think she knew like as much as like Raven and everybody else that that really knew anything. Like
whenever I hear a crack, I think of that one Christmas song where it goes crack. Sorry, but I didn't live amongst people who crack whips in my everyday life.
I hear the sleigh bells jingling.
Yeah. And then it goes do 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 do. Nay. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't. But
I'm gonna get a cup of coffee.
Well, that was wonderful, Jen. Grab yourself a shot too, man.
Thank you so much.
And everybody else, drink it if you got it. Spark it if you got it. I think you saw my accolades. Fire and bud, bubble and sparks.
And I want to say too, any bitch that can fucking let dragons, like, can nurse them from breastfeed them, whatever.
Whoa, yeah, that whole pluck off the.
Right. So
coming from an actual mother, yep.
Yeah, bend the knee because screw that.
You want to hear something really funny? Okay, because also I would assume that being dragons, they were born with teeth, right? Because they're predators, right? Okay, but besides that, you want to hear something? This is like a crazy, freaky thing. I'm glad.
One thing I think.
All right, Jen. Jen, you're gonna dig this. This is a crazy side story that.
Okay.
If you ever learn to edit, you'll want to edit it out. There you go. So
that's probably not going to happen.
So speaking of like super freaky deaky, like I said, you're a mama, so you know this. Okay. So my friend, just after I came home from college in New Mexico, she got pregnant, and her and her boyfriend, wherever. So they were hanging out with my aunt, who's my godmother, whom I love dearly. So they were just all casually sitting at my old house, talking. And my aunt says, and my girlfriend's Jinx love her to death. Like, so she's like, so, Jinx's baby daddy. I won't say his name, right? But I'll say Jinx because that's her nickname. So are you getting her ready, for when the baby comes? And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, like toughening up her nipples. Like literally, this was the conversation. Toughening up her nipples. Like, in other words, FYI,
it's a real thing. I'm not familiar with it.
Gentlemen who don't know, so this was an education for myself too, because I've had friends who have breastfed, whatever, and it's crazy bad. So what you're really supposed to do, and I don't even know if your doctors tell you, but if you met my aunt, she would tell you, your man is supposed to like be biting on those things and getting them toughened up for when you have a baby. So if you had dragon babies, I can't even imagine it. Probably nipple clamps, like the works.
Well,
crazy.
You think she was like 13 in them too, so yeah, that probably really hurt. I mean, I'm sure Jerk was rough with her, but
nothing. Okay, like I'm saying, even your man can't compare you to dragon teeth.
He ain't paying attention to her, but
think about puppy teeth and how bad those suckers hurt.
All right, let me ask you guys this.
So that's just
after watching this happen, how effing crazy was Daria to think that she could get one over on Daenerys with Zoe and Doxos?
Yeah.
When they get to Quaith.
Yeah.
I mean, this chick hatched dragons, just, without even a plan. Just,
But she thought that the dragons would get stolen, and so would Denny. She was just dumb.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know why she was that dumb now.
What do you
think? Okay, but wait.
You want to add something to any observation you made?
You know what I did notice? I must have, I'm getting older, more than younger, right? But
no.
Yeah, definitely me too.
When I mentioned about how Joe or Ago, I think it is Jogo and Pogo or whatever. All you know what I'm talking about, right? Those blood guys, right?
Right.
I mentioned about Jorah being the last one. I think Jorah's just standing there dumbfounded, and just staring at him. So I misread that before, where I know earlier in the chapter, Jorah lays down his sword and things of that nature. I thought he did it again here after those guys did, but yeah, he's just like, right. So I think I'd kind of picked up on.
Yeah, don't you think that he totally thought she was going to die?
I don't think he thought. I don't know what he thought, but I totally think he thought she was definitely pushing it, asking her 3 previous blood riders to be her cause, because like they all 3 said, and like they all doesn't happen. But like they all 3 said, we'll get you to Vase Dothrak safe, but we're not going to serve a woman. And I think Jorah knew, because Jorah is always the one to be like, look, it's not the Dothraki way.
No. But
Targaryen history.
But wait a second.
I think he knew what to go in the fire.
Please. And this is where, I'm, and not that I have Jorah hate, but I'm feeling a lot of Jorah love here tonight, and it's kind of weird. Okay, because he couldn't just be, I'm devoted to you. You're princess. Now my queen. All right, it's all well and good. I'll lay down my sword when all these other guys won't. Okay, because I can have a queen. I'm not afraid of my manhood. I can do that. But then he has to throw in, no Dothraki will take you. And if you want, I will. If you'll have me, because
when did he say that?
He did. He implied it, Dog. He didn't say that right out because that's not how George R. Martin writes. But he did imply it. It was implied. And also, then he also, in this little scheme, which didn't seem like a scheme, it just sounded like devoted love. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? It's about as deep as your freaking dragon eggs. Don't freaking take your dragon eggs over there to. We could live forever. But that was another part when he says this. We could live forever on your 3 dragon eggs. 1 dragon eye.
He tried to do what Viserys wanted to do, and he stopped him from doing.
Right, and 1 dragon egg we could take to Ashai, and he's always pushing going to Ashai. He mentioned going to Ashai 2 or 3 times, which I thought all the nobleness was like, I saw creep factor.
Yeah, and we talked about this already, but remember also, Dog, panel, not only
but I want the boy perspective.
He said not only did he have her sword, his sword, he had her heart. She had his heart. Bubba
his
that
sword.
I know exactly the part you're talking about.
Yeah.
However, that can be interpreted, you have, the
both ways. It can be
the people's heart, right?
Right. And it can be interpreted nobly.
We know that he's definitely in love with her, of course, right? But I just wanted to see the part where he said, I want to, hey, if you want to, we could hook up.
No, but it did. It wasn't implied. Okay, no, it wasn't spelled out.
I was messing with Moni.
Hey, and I'll mess right back. So I'm just saying, but I want your very alpha male perspective and tell me all.
Oh, I love it.
Like, so you don't think that was just
Lamar.
His heart laying down his sword. It's all.
Hey, Lady
it was all altruistic. Him mentioning Ashai 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 or 1,000 billion times meant nothing, right?
Yeah, I see where you're at. You know what? It gave me the Sir Lancelot, Guinevere vibes.
And
good.
And you know what?
Hey,
I wish it was.
Good observation.
I wish it was. And when I first read it, this is hindsight speaking. But because of the creep factor later, I was just like, dude, what's up with Ashai that you want her to get those dragon eggs to Ashai so bad?
Like, I thought Lario had someone there to help her, actually, if not someone to help her, then someone to actually hatch them in Ashai. That's what the big deal was about getting her or the eggs to Ashai.
You think that was his trap to get a pardon?
I just think that was the whole point of going to a shy, was to get the eggs to the shy to get them.
No, I know. So he had an ulterior motive.
I do. I think I agree. I think George did have ulterior motive for.
Things like he did.
I think we'll see it in the books. I do think we'll see it in the books.
He mentioned more than once about going, what is it, east?
Yeah. And also, I want him to do that. I think Jago was the first person that noticed the comet, and that was the first part of the prophecy. So I bet old Mary probably like pissed herself then, because when the sun rises in the east, right? So the comet would be
when the sun rises in the east and sets in the west.
You know what I meant.
Yeah, no. And which way was he facing? Because like, okay, so traditionally, what is it? It's head at the east, so it's your feet towards the west, right?
Yeah, the way that it was going.
Anyways, no, and that's good. Bran, what did you think?
And it was heading west.
Completely altruistic.
So maybe. Actually, now I'm kind of wondering.
We want to say hey to LMR in the chat. She's a great creator. Hit her icon. Everybody in here's already subbed to her. Dog's icon. Hell, sub to everybody. You never know when somebody.
Hey, you know what?
Something out.
Well, LMR, I'm glad that you're here, because I'm gonna do another declaration. Bud, fire and blood, bubbles and spark.
Let me tell you guys something.
Skittles and beer.
When I used to just hit everybody's icon and sub to everybody, I tell you what happened. That was before, and then Chrissy of Old Stones started doing her wonderful narrations and stuff. So you can be subscribed to everybody, and you never know when somebody's going to put something worthwhile out there. You know,
if
wonderful narrations.
If I listen to Chrissy's stories before I go to sleep, will I be scared?
I mean, so hit everybody, sub to everybody. Leave it. Sometimes they just put personal stuff up, like, a trip to the mountains. Here's my picture.
Okay.
It's a good way to get to know everybody.
I have a Friday night dance party that I often dance to. If you want to, anytime.
See that.
It is actually on my. Well, it's just a bunch of songs.
I saw something you put out that was like multiple pictures of you. That was really good. I hate the way I picture.
Well, no, because like I have what is that Google Assistant, whatever. Ooh, I have
Google Assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Google.
It's my Google Acolyte. Okay, so
your Google Acolyte.
So they made a fabulous photo of me, and I did rock on Shaka. I don't know if I can post that or not. I would post it to you guys who are here, because I love you.
That's Moni's word now, Acolyte.
Hey, I'm sweating that poster of Hans right behind you, like over your shoulder, like. I'm like, watch this video later.
Oh my God. Can we watch it together? Can we please do that? Look. Oh, wait.
Yeah. It's like, woo. Yeah.
Well, all right, you guys. Is there anything else we really didn't go over in the chapter?
You know what?
It'll be Han Solo for real.
Okay, wait. All right, I'm sorry, but Bran, what did you think of
about?
Yeah. Sorry, I want to hear your comment.
I think Sora definitely had ulterior motives, but I mean, after seeing this, how could you have ulterior motives?
Oh no, and I think that he was completely moved. After it was the whole before speech.
I'm sure he thought, she was walking to the death, so he was like, might as well get.
Ain't nothing like a G thing, baby. Just give me your eggs and get crazy.
I was thinking earlier. I'm just saying.
All right, wait. Okay, here you go, Ree.
Unfadeable. Please don't try to fade me.
Whose laser sword do you want shooting at you? I know who I want. I'm just saying.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
There is no mercy. There's no mercy tonight. This is a celebration.
Dog, are you going to be able to go to con?
Oh no.
Why?
Where do you live now, if you don't mind saying? Where do you hail from? I love your accent.
Yeah, I'm originally from Sandusky, Ohio.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Dog and I have the same accent.
Amusement park. That's where I grew up, and I live in now.
You know, Liz, who we normally have
Live where?
in Ohio, she just lives in Canada now.
Who lives in Canada?
Yes.
You know, Liz, who we normally have on the
Liz?
panel.
She's
She can't
like
be here
a
this
total
week or
like.
next week, but
Oh, right.
she's from Ohio and went to school in Ohio. She just lives and works in Canada.
She's a Stink Eye fan. Stink Eye, I think isn't that the name of that college there?
Go on, Dog. I didn't hear what you were saying.
What was I saying? Oh, you're asking.
You're originally from Sandusky, Ohio, and where do you live now?
Michigan. Yeah, like right in the middle. Yeah, like right here.
Hi, show us. Come on.
Always put their hand out.
This is where he lives.
Do you live near Moni?
And then
No, seriously though, do you live near Moni?
Like okay, when I had friends who went to school up at CMU for a while, which is in Mount Pleasant, and
that was later too.
So I learned by osmosis and traveled up there every weekend. And I think one time I made it, but this was the piece de resistance.
I think you just like to party, Mom.
What? That's a rumor. I resemble that comment.
Yeah,
that was for what? What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
That's the coolest ever, and that is like she was wearing Crocs before Crocs were cool. You know what I'm saying? Or not Crocs. What are those stinky?
Remember?
What are those stinky like boots from Australia called?
Uggs.
Yeah, she was wearing Uggs before because that was the only issue I have with that outfit. I'm like,
I wanted you to say
gladiator sandals.
For some reason, I was just wanting you to bust out with jelly shoes. Y'all remember jellies?
You know what? I never had a pair. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I was like, I'd support some of those if they had them in my size being smart.
You remember that? Good Lord.
Yeah. Trying to make me buy some of these sandals.
You guys are trying to make me jelly. Oh, okay. Here's for all you. Here's for all you yucky Sith lovers.
Hey, what's the matter with this?
But I definitely think this daughter, bride, mother of dragons is definitely foreshadowing that she is going to marry a true Targaryen.
Yeah.
I think it's Jon Snow.
Yeah, you know what though? Okay, all right, and here's another confession. Crotchless Crocs. Now that might be a market. That's a Walmart special for sure, Bubba. So all I'm saying is, you totally distracted me, you dirty dastard. It'll come to me. Either that or it was a lie.
What are crotchless Crocs?
I don't want to know, but I think there'd be a market. All I'm saying is, I think they would sell well at Walmart. Oh. All right, so no, there was something else I wanted to say. So, okay, oh yes, now I recall. So, when I was reading, confession. Please don't judge me, panel. I need your word.
I give him a word. You didn't read the chapter.
You love me for who I am.
You didn't actually read the chapter. That's what you're fixing to say.
No, bullshit. I read it. What I'm saying is, when I read the series, well, it's a well-known fact. It is known that I skipped some of the chapters and I've been told I need to read all of them, so I might need somebody to hold my hand to read them. But because the torture thing, So, anyways, but when I was reading, and this had nothing to do with torture. It was just that she was a boy poor. So I would skip the Dany chapters, okay? Because like I totally dug, and this is like my underdog perspective. I think it's like I guess a reflection on myself, because rereading them, like I really enjoyed this chapter. I loved her perspective. I liked how she was talking. Like I think maybe the first time around, I didn't get it as much, or it was a very profound, and obviously because I'm a visual person. I saw the shows first, and it got me reading these epic novels. I think at the sight of this novel, I would have said, no way, like back in the day. But I've read all the Lord of the Rings, not the Hobbit yet, not the Silmarillion, which Dawg, you got. I'm bowing down to that because that's too hard for me. So if you can read me some of that, like I'll play along with that because I'd like to learn about it. But it's funny. It's this whole juxtapose positions, because like Bran and Arya were two of my faves reading the whole series, and then when I watched the show, see that's it. The show annoyances kind of that would seep into your perspective of what you were reading, and I find with this reread, because what did we do? We finished the whole damn book. Sharon,
damn it.
I need to like have a catchphrase. I don't know it, but so I was digging Dany more. Did anybody find that? Like, or does that? And like also throughout the years, there's been so much Dany hate. I think also that has like, because everybody just hates on Dany. Even though like when I read the books, she wasn't my favorite character at all. But because of all the Dany hate, I feel the need to protect her. Like that's what I do. I work with special needs kids who are autistic and don't have a voice. So I want to give the voice to the voiceless. So like when everybody's hating on her, I'm like, well.
When I honestly first read the books, the Dany chapters were some of my favorites.
Really?
You know, and I couldn't wait to get to them because I really, especially reading the first book, and it, took us to the very last chapter to get to this. But I always thought those dragon eggs were going to hatch.
Yeah, I wonder.
I liked Drogon, and I wanted her baby to be born, and I didn't know exactly how it was going to happen, but just all the emphasis they put on her, putting them on the brazier and holding them, and it just, you felt like something was going to happen with these eggs. They didn't feel like they were going to be home decor the rest of her life.
My other. Also, something too is where the eggs were placed too. Like I said, we were talking about where Viserion was, but Drogon was placed on the heart, and she's already riding him. So, will anyone else ride him? Possibly, maybe no. And then also,
nobody will ride her.
Right, and then Rhaegal was placed at the head. So where the dragons
are did ride Drogon.
About who could be possible riders. Because when I think about the head of the dragon too, I think about like smart people, Tyrion and stuff,
Or the head, and who was placed up there? Drogon.
Or faces like Arya, faceless men, or
so who was on the crotch? Or in between his legs, whatever.
So I think either Dorne or Jon. What are
the colors? Because I'm a color person.
Is the one that was in the place between the crotch the one that Tyrion let loose?
I'm curious. I'm curious. Like the one was that the one that he killed first?
The one on the show.
The Night King killed.
Yeah.
First.
The one that killed.
Yeah. And that is like,
but the show got Dorne's. They have Dorne's budget to the White Walkers. Huh? They could have given their dragon.
Explain that again.
they gave Doran's budget to the White Walkers and all that. That was
yeah. But that doesn't the significance of the dragons. I don't think. Do you really think in the show they're gonna like kill the dragons out of order?
I think they give them their dragon, maybe.
So you don't think that's going to happen in the books?
That dragon that was supposed to be either Dorne or somebody else's. Like maybe the actual son, the real Aegon or something, or somebody else. I don't know. Just somebody connected to Dorne. Here's something else too. Did y'all notice all the House Dane connections in here? Because it kept talking about the sword of the morning and stuff like that, or the sword of the evening. I'm sorry, not of the morning. So did y'all?
No, didn't notice.
Who's sword of the evening?
Whatever you want to call it, like where dark starts from. Because that's where the sword of the evening's from, right?
From Dorne?
Wait. From Dorne, yeah.
There's some Dornish references and some House Dane references in this chapter. They talked about the sword of
I just had an epiphany, like, so maybe that, because I do think that Dany is prophetic, right? Like, she wasn't reading books about how to do this shit, right?
Right.
Nobody's schooling her on this.
She ever got on her,
unless she got possessed.
The one that Jorah Mormont gave her for a bride gift,
right?
The history of the Seven Kingdoms, and I don't think they were on dragon lore. I think the only person going around reading books like that is Tyrion. I think maybe Tyrion will ride a dragon.
But me too. But Quaithe wasn't like in this book yet, right?
Quaithe, no, they haven't bumped into her yet.
Right? She not until after. Not until after, right?
Right. Okay, guys, what do you guys think?
I
jump
think
in
so
here.
much.
Y'all are too quiet.
Oh yeah, boys,
fellas.
Oh, I wanted to answer one of Bubba's silly questions.
Yeah.
I thought it was silly just because it was coming from Bubba.
Yes, and you know what? I'm so thankful you're here because you pay good attention to that. Thank you, Dawg.
Yeah.
Even though you're a guest, thank you.
Yeah. And Bubba has his question is why didn't they have to burn the milk in order to feed the dragons? Right, and I told Bubba that I think it's because it might make the dragons gassy. However, to get a little more serious, right?
You guys, like, you know what? Remember,
funeral pyre.
Remember, she was like,
I was dancing and everything, right? All that stuff. I mean, he described it beautifully, right?
Right.
And also to kind of touch on another thing that you were mentioning before about the animals and things of that nature, right? One thing I don't think that it necessarily had any symbolic reference to like the wolves, the birds, all that.
No,
I think, and because they also mentioned unicorns here, right?
But, right. Okay.
But we don't know what's going to happen with the.
The reason I thought that about it goes from wolf to bird to flower.
Right.
Okay. The wolves are the starts. We know the book's going to be. We know the last book's going to be a time for wolves. Sansa's often described as a bird, and then a dream of spring. That would be when flowers come.
This thing I was mentioning here, right? I just think it was just kind of making you feel as the reader, like for Daenerys, right? It was a comforting thing, right? It was a comforting scene, right? Wolves and birds and freaking unicorns, right? And the fire is beautiful, right?
Right.
Just that's what it is to her, right? To most folks, right? We see fire, we're like, you know what I'm saying? But
not
he makes a beautiful reference what fire is to her, right?
Not Dawg.
That makes sense. I understand what you're saying.
Right. She is fire, right?
It really was just a fire, but instead of coming off just like fire to her, it seemed very magical.
Yeah. So I hope I answered your question, Bubba. She's basically fire. She doesn't need to burn her milk.
But like, yeah, and I was surprised because I forgot. But you got to remember, man, she was ready to give birth. That whole thing, like everything was bad, and then they had to remind us, George R. Martin, about her heaving, milk-laden breasts.
Well, I mean, that's a real thing, you know, even if you miscarry.
Sister, I know, and it doesn't go away.
Wasn't it like blood?
Yeah, but just because you miscarry, it doesn't go away. But what I'm saying is he points that out because I had forgotten again. But then she goes in, like, and it feeds her dragons. Like, that was, it did that. That was, I was like, that was a wow moment. I was like, oh, yeah. Oh,
right.
Because in the show, because I'm a visual person, they didn't have like 2 dragons.
So, like, if she does have another kid, it might be the milk brother of a dragon.
I hope not, dude.
Not too many people in Westeros can say that, huh?
That'd be pretty.
No girl should have to go through that more than 3 times.
Yeah, notice how they didn't show that on the show.
That's what I was gonna say. That's why maybe it took me back because it's been a while since I've read this chapter, and I was like,
Graham, what do you think? What do you think about the significance of how the eggs were placed?
Well, first, the whole unicorn thing. There's a house called House Brooks, and their sigil's a unicorn. And
who? House what? You broke out, sweetness.
House Brass.
And how are they significant?
Well, they're like a part of the Westerlands, and they're in there a lot.
But there you go.
Yeah, I was gonna mention, I might be wrong. Maybe those animals do have some significant reference. Like, I'm sure the foxes have a sigil somewhere too. Right?
The foxes horns.
And the Tyrells have a flower sigil.
Yeah.
That's
I
got a wolf sigil, a falcon, bird sigil. You got plenty of those, truthfully.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just thought it was also, after rereading it again, I just thought it was just a beautiful way to make it feel like it was a comforting area for her to be, right?
Well, it was for her, but certainly everybody else around her was freaked the fuck out.
Yeah. What are you doing?
It was more of a,
but yeah, if he wrote it that way, and also reference, you know, like if those are actual foreshadowings to things to come, that's just awesome writing, I think.
You know, and that's, I think, why we all love these books so much, because I don't know about you guys, but I've always been a big reader, and sometimes, you know, you get about halfway through a book or even a little bit further, and there's that much left of it, and you can already see the end coming, and it kind of really puts you off. You know what I mean? These books, you never have to worry about that.
No, they chopped off.
I always find new stuff.
And I want to all tell this story too.
Okay.
I don't know what got you into this is what got me into Game of Thrones and then the books. I was watching True Blood, and Game of Thrones premiered right after True Blood, and actually in a 9 o'clock slot. I had seen the previews. That's like my kind of jam. I love historical stuff. I knew it was science fiction, but it looked really good. I watched it. I fell in love with it. If you watched the first episode, you could go online immediately and watch the second. Then after the first season, I found out that it was books. And that was during a particularly hard time in my life when I was having my leg reconstructed and just in a lot of pain a lot of times. And to get outside of my head, or like if I knew, okay, you'll be okay in the morning, it's the surgery. After the surgery, you know, you'll at least have pain meds. And then after that, your leg will be better, you know. So just this book came up, these books came around for me during a very particularly hard and painful time in my life, and a lot of times helped me escape outside of myself.
Okay, like what where was he at in the series? Like, how many had he had written?
Right when I started reading the books, Dance of Dragons came out. Like, I read the first 4 books, and then Dance of Dragons came out in like December.
Okay, so yeah, like, so you were kind of like me. I started reading after I saw
started
the
reading
shows.
after the first season.
Right. And then I had to wait for Dance of Dragons, and it was torture, wasn't it? And then,
Well, it's torture now, waiting for Winds of Winter.
Well, yeah. But like, I had to empathize because, like,
if you would have asked me back in 2011 or Christmas 2012 if I'd still be waiting on the Winds of Winter, I would have told you no, crazy, you know. But
yeah, that was one, and I had to go buy it hardcover because I just couldn't wait any longer.
Absolutely.
Like, and that was the thing with like reading it the first time too, and then I know rereading it because it's so layered. And like Dawg, like you said, like the brilliance of his writing, like, well, is it Reed bending in the wind, or is it like, you know, a regime toppling it, you know, but so you can read so much into it, and it's just like,
right,
isn't that with prophetic writing, isn't that just how it is? And sometimes a reed just bending in the wind is just a reed bending in the wind. Oh. But it was yeah, so I did the same thing. So I bought Dance of Dragons in the hardcover because I couldn't wait. And yeah, good times, man. Good times. And I was hello, Antique Gamer. If you've been here longer and I neglected you, I apologize. And what else was I just gonna say? But anyways, yeah. So my love for Dani in this one, like, I appreciated her a lot more. Now I don't know if like my serious, it wasn't. And I have to redo all of them. I've like got the first 3, like the first one I've read the most, and then the second one the second most, and the third one the third most. And I love Dance. But I don't know when I got bored because I just couldn't wait to get to the Arya and the Bran chapters. Those were my thing. But now, like, you've heard me just bitch about like this reread, this book thing is like, Moni freaking hates like John, and like
with the comment everywhere, and everyone's seeing it and thinking all kinds of crazy different things.
Yeah. Well, and it's almost like the Bible, like, or I'm sure other prophetic books. I'm not just singling out the Bible, but when you read something and it speaks to you where you are, because it's so often that's life, isn't it? Like, it's not.
Everybody has.
I mean, shit happens to everybody in life all the time, but it's how you react to the shit happening in your life. So when you read these books, like, so I read it at that time, and I just like couldn't get through it enough, and then I wanted to know the next chapters, and then the second reads, I was like, like he said that, but I know it's really going to happen way down the road. But at the time, it meant nothing to me because I was like, I loved. It was a good series. I think.
All right, so let's hear from Bran and Dawg.
Yes, please.
How did you become a GOT super fan, basically?
Oh, go ahead, Bran.
Well, I mean, like, I always loved the show, and I started reading the books probably about a year ago, really. I don't know. I just,
just love it.
Yeah, I just love it.
So, like, but you were a show watcher, a show lover.
Yeah, I was a show watcher, since day one, really. But I'm like, I've got 2 more books left, but I'm really excited about it all. I do have a question for everybody, though.
Okay.
Someone had sent me this thing about the chapters for the next 2 books being like put into chronological order or whatever. Do you think read it like that, or just read it how it was released?
You mean read Clash and Sword,
Dance, and Feast.
Okay, I've heard of that. Dance and Feast. Reading it, like, explain it.
I say for your first read through,
Read it all separate.
Do it the way he wrote it. For
Right.
like when you want to get like, because I would like to do that too, Brand.
But
maybe
then
we can.
I've definitely heard of that. Reading like one book, and it was one book. It was split in two. That's common knowledge,
right? And they
So
do the chronological. Right.
Also, a lot of people say to read every Jamie, every Sansa.
Yeah, big chapter.
You know, right after the other, without reading the other things, and it reads like, you know, a set of short stories. Me and Ree are going to do a, because everybody knows I've gone on the record for several years now saying I think that Jamie is Azor Ahai, the person. I don't believe it's a concept, anything like that. I don't have a grand theory for you. It's just what my heart tells me. And I just think the Kingslayer thing, it's going to end up being a good thing. And so to prepare for the stream, I'm reading every Jamie chapter separate.
This is a wolf den. Ow!
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 Sorry. Hold on. Let me get this. Rudy! 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 Rudy!
5 foot nothing. 100 pounds of nothing.
It's okay, Wiki. I'm sorry. Yo, that's not Rudy. That's Mr. Wicky's. Wicket, like the Ewok. You know, because that's kind of what he looks like. But he throws a fit when you call for Rudy.
Oh. He just sounded like he just sounded like a pack in the wolf den.
I think like Rudy's like from the movie Rudy, like
that's what Rudy is named after. Yes, he is 100%. I love that movie. I love it.
I like Goonies. I've never seen Rudy, but I love Goonies.
I love Goonies.
I've actually read the book. It's quite a thing what he did to make the Notre Dame football, even the practice team.
I know,
and he went to the Korean War, the Vietnam War, and went back to school on the GI Bill after passing Holy Cross Community College well enough to get in. I mean, it's not like he just saved some money, went to Holy Cross Community College, got into Notre Dame like the movie. It's not like that at all. He had to go serve 2 years in the military and get the GI Bill to even afford to go to college. It's, you know, as we all know, books are different than movies.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, did they tank the economy so they could prep up their war machine? I'm not doing any theory. I'm not doing any theories in the wolf den either.
I mean, I have no idea, but he did get to go to college on the GI Bill, which he wouldn't have normally been able to do. And then that allowed him to help put some of his younger brothers and sisters through school, which his parents couldn't afford to send anybody to school.
Well, and good for him.
So, you know.
I was going to tell you something, but I forgot. So I was digging this chapter, and it was such, in the show, so powerfully visual.
And you guys know what to prepare for today? I actually read yesterday and highlighted, and then I read again today, listened twice, and then right before we went on air, I guess about 6:30, I put it on season 1, episode 10, and skipped through all the parts but the Daenerys parts, because I was telling Russell, who is a show only.
To the Russell.
To the Russell. He's already in bed, y'all. He's been at work all day.
So what?
And I've been having him doing that damn Postmate. He was like, thank God tomorrow night is your book stream, because I do not want to go deliver food. But y'all, we do pretty well. I mean, hey, I got to do what I got to do to pay for con.
Hey, you know what? I love doing the Russell. So I'll have to make you like a little paper cutout of him walking through with his drawers. You can just like run it by, and I'll do
the Russell.
Do the
To the Russell. It's kind of like the electric slide, but the steps are a little bit different.
Well, yeah. It's like you know what? It's like the original Hustle because I had the second
Yeah.
as a kid, and it ruled.
All right, you guys, we are coming up. I want to say a few things. I just want to say thank you so much. It's been over a year. I streamed with other people before I had my own channel. So I've actually been streaming since season 5. I've actually had my YouTube channel since 2014. But doing all this all on my own.
But you've never been all by yourself.
But what I mean is just, counting on myself and the panel to help me out. I really appreciate it. And I feel like we've worked for every sub that we've gotten. And
I know,
the hard, old-fashioned way of just grinding it out every Thursday. Sometimes even when I didn't feel like it. We didn't miss too many. No. And from now on, we're going to start putting a few chapters together that are just shorter, but I don't like to do that on the longer chapters because there's so much. They deserve their own attention.
Okay, I'm starting to get like anxiety.
Jen.
That's my comfort zone. The one chapter.
What, Brian?
Can you please ask me what the next chapter is?
It's the prologue to Clash of Kings.
Yeah.
And then it's brand 1, chapter 1, Clash of Kings.
So we're doing them both together?
No, we're not. The next thing we're doing next week is the prologue of Clash of Kings. And my husband, the Russell, bought me a brand new hardback copy of Clash of Kings that I can write in and tab up and everything.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Oh, that man.
And I got him, bless his heart, I had got him a T-shirt, a koozie, and a mug that said One True King and had the Night King on it for Christmas. And he accidentally put the coffee mug on top of the van and drove off with it. And he felt so bad about it, he reordered it with his own money. And he got that. I actually bought it for him again for Valentine's Day. But, yeah, he felt so bad about it. He didn't want anything different. He wanted the same one again. But so next week will be the prologue to Clash of Kings. And then the first chapter is a brand chapter.
Okay, I think I've kept up pretty well in our chats. Saying hello and I think we've kept up with the shout outs, but I probably did it. So if I missed anybody or if anybody missed anybody, please let us know. And you guys, this has been so cool. Like Jennifer, thank you for inviting me in your den, welcoming me. And
you're so welcome. And I want to say I was wrong. The first chapter after the prologue in Clash is actually Aya.
Who?
Arya.
I know. I just wanted to hear her say it again.
Some people say it that way. Like, don't
you said it.
It's supposed to be 2 syllables. Arya.
The Arya chapter is pretty short. Do y'all want to combine Sansa and Arya?
No. Did you want to stress me out?
Okay, so prologue Clash next week. Does anybody have anything else they want to add?
I want to add thank you, Jen.
Yay, thank you,
Jen. And thank you so much, Dawg. I'm always so...
And yay, Dawg, welcome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
We really wanted a guest, for our... I mean, we made it through a book. I've seen a lot of people do book clubs or do... whatever, but usually they fizzle out in the end or whatever, and we really did. We did it. We did it.
Hey, you know what? We're long lasting.
That's a lot of chapters,
and I feel proud of that. It's a big book.
Yeah.
And with that, I mean, I guess that's everything there is. Let's
wait. So does anybody? Wait. because this is our celebration time.
It is our celebration. Okay, Johnny Giants Bang, Johnny Indie Boots, John Green Hands is in the chat. Shout out. Brent, I'm bringing you north of the wall, and you should have as a big respecto and salute, y'all. Keep the recaps going. Good energy. Thank you so much for dropping by, Johnny. I really appreciate that.
Hey, man. So, like, anybody have anything to say, or like questions, or like
questions
at all? Dawg, do you have anything else to say?
Oh no! Again, thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I'm so glad that you said yes. I was like so geeked. I was like, Jenny said yes.
I know. And me, I'm a wuss. I had Moni to ask, but I mean, to be fair,
him and I rocked out to the Beatles all freaking night at Gangbangers.
Bear with me, guys.
Who was there with us? Thank you. We were rocking the Casbah, which
I was there that night too.
Yeah,
the whole time.
I was
doing Abbey Road, and
I was afraid that we were going to get yelled at, but everybody was cool because it was a really bad day. But it's getting better all the time.
It is, Johnny. We've done the entire Game of Thrones, and like I said, a lot of people started and whatever, and then you see them kind of fizzle out, but we did it, and we're going to keep going. And next Thursday, like I said, prologue of Clash.
So seriously, friends who are still here, 12 people watching, give us a question, because this is our adios to AGoT.
Are you guys interested in Terry T asked, how did Dawg get into it? Are you interested in knowing how I got into it?
I would love to know. Nobody finished answering.
I know, yeah.
Oh, I got into it. Fran answered. Dawg, you answer, and then ladies, you finish out.
So I think it was about 2013-ish. I think it was maybe pre-season 3. But I basically binge watched all of season 1 to make a long story short, right? Because I was just kind of looking around for something to binge watch one day, and I picked it up, and so I was like, hey, I heard about this Game of Thrones. It's probably pretty good, so I checked it out because I don't really watch a whole lot of television, but yeah, I fell in love with it. And then I started. I think I binge watched like season 2, and then I watched. I think they were called Otaku Assemble. Was the channel name or something like that? But there was a guy on there named Larry, and he ended up having. I think Tony Teflon was on there once or something, but this was like long ago, right? But I kind of landed into the community, by seeing. Tony Teflon, I think, on that channel. I got over to like Tony's channel.
You also had a different identity.
Cool, man. There's like a whole freaking book series about this stuff, and then I just kind of fell into like a wiki wormhole of everything, right? Because I was like, what's this? What happens to this character, and what happens to this character, right? So I would just, do all that kind of stuff. But now I've watched this show probably about 500,000 times. I don't have to rewatch any scenes or anything of that nature. It's like Star Wars to me anymore because I've seen it.
Except for you love all.
Some things I can watch over and over again, and game is usually one of those things. But Antique Gamer says in 2011, when the show first came out, the very first episode, I fell in love. Only just got. And then started reading with you guys now. Okay, awesome. And Nancy started reading with us. Several people started reading with us, and I really appreciate that. And it makes it fun. Peter Griffith said, oh, man, I just had a 2-hour struggle cutting my dog's hair and nails last night. Man, he hates the sound of the buzzer. Yeah, mine does too.
Yeah.
Okay, Antique Gamer also says, Jamie went to kill Bran first. Now he is on a character arc, and in the end, he will be forced to kill Bran to save everyone. That is my theory for the show and the books. That's a pretty sound theory, actually. If you look at that.
Especially if he ends up being the Night King.
Elamar says, one book down, Few more to go. Yeah, you're right, girl.
Just a couple.
Yeah.
Omar, yeah, some light reading. I think we'll get the next one done next week.
I have a question. What was the name of the barbers north of the wall that cut Brand's hair for season 7? That's a quick flash question I've Saturday. If anyone can answer, I'd be happy to hear it. Laugh out loud.
Bugs Bunny.
Is that little, you see the ad on TV that looks like a little vacuum thing that like sucks your hair up?
Oh no, like poor Garth and Wayne's World. It's sucking my will to live.
They call it floating. When it sucks your hair and cuts it. I've seen that on late night TV. Nancy G says, "Oh, thank you. I'm just trying to blanket the community with love." She says that
There's
back
all
to
kinds
Green
of
Hands.
Got a whole lot of love.
Nancy says, "Good night, everyone, and have a great weekend." Bubba Husky says, "Later, Lady Barbary Dustin."
Night, Nancy.
And Gamer says, "Edward Scissorhands cuts Grant's hair." Okay, night, Nancy. All right, y'all, we're at 9:51, and that's when we wrap up because everybody has real life and real work and stuff.
No. This is my party. I do
it by tonight. Bubba Husky, you still won't tell me what crotchless Crocs are. I'm going to find out. Nancy T, Matt, Bubba, Ree, me, Terry T, Antique Gamer, LMR, Moni, Nancy, Johnny, Peter Griffin. I don't think I missed him, but Terry T. I don't think I missed anybody. Did I?
I don't want to go down. I want to live stream for a little bit more, but I don't know how.
Okay, you do?
Not you. I'm not saying on your channel, but I don't know how. I could try, but I don't know how.
Bubba Husky, I'm at real work. You always are. Good night, LMR. Thank you for coming by. I know you knew how important this was to me.
Good night, everybody.
Everybody's awesome. Thank you. Hey, wait. Did I get to say? Did you kill us? I have to say.
And I just want to say this too. There's been a lot of people come and go on book club. I never think anybody is here necessarily permanently. I know everybody's going to end up doing their own thing. And I am happy with that and proud of that. And nobody, but I just want to say, nobody's ever been fired from book club. Like if somebody's not on book club anymore, it's because things just ran their course or they don't have time to do their own stuff and do book club anymore. Because believe it or not, you've got to do the 2 hours, but you've also got to prep and do your notes. It takes me usually 5 hours of my week to do this. It's like a very small part-time job. So, I mean, that's the deal with that. So never think like somebody got fired from book club. Shelly, Misha, LMR, anybody who's ever been on.
Yeah, well, shout out to all of
them. Their course or they had to start a job or and only had time to do their own things and branch off. And that's expected. I don't expect
shout out to everybody, Jen, right?
With me forever.
Man, shout out to everybody because I've been here like from the very beginning, and this has been the same. You know what? It's a good community, but I've seen the ugly side. It can be a cutthroat community too.
It can be, but you know what? I started this channel because I got tired of being in chats and people saying comments like, "Did you even read the books?" or something really ugly. There's just no call for that. You're already putting yourself out there when you make a comment, and you just don't need somebody to throw that hate and shade on you. Nobody knows for sure what's going to happen. This is George R. R. Martin. Aliens could come down, and this could all be a sci-fi book. I would hate it if that happened, but it could. It could very well.
And you know what? Opinions, this is one of my favorite sayings. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So, you know, anybody can say and think what they want to about it. It's a show. It's a book. That's the fun part about it. We all have our ideas, our theories, our perspectives. That's what this is all about. George R. R. Martin writes about all these different perspectives, these gray areas. That's what's so great about it. That's why we love them. So we're all allowed to think all these different things, and who knows who's going to be right? No one knows till it happens, and then hell, we still don't know till it ends.
Isn't that the truth?
That's true. Because I've been wrong about a lot of things. I've been right about things. But that's another reason why I love Russell won't watch Law and Order with me, because I can tell you halfway through the episode exactly who did what, and I'm yelling at the lawyer going, "Tell your client to spit the criminal," and I'm usually right. But
you're like my dad, because
you really just don't see everything coming. So
I love mysteries, but you're like my dad, and I couldn't even figure out who did it in Scooby-Doo. I know. It's a little embarrassing, but whatever.
It was the one guy.
Everybody says that, but I was always guessing.
Usually the one that looks like a pedo.
It's like
oh.
Could have got away with it too.
Always love and respect to everyone. It takes time. It is worth being here. No bullies are accepted in this community. Everyone supports everyone. That is the thing I have found in this family. That's true, but it wasn't always that way. And it's still not. You'll be surprised the people who snub you. I'm not even kidding. I could tell a story about somebody specifically telling me something at the con that was 100% wrong information about when a panel was. And there was no other reason to do it except for to be mean. And I'm not going to say who, what, when, where, but it was hurtful. And I paid $189 just like everybody else.
Mean people suck.
And it also hurt that I had to tell my partner at the time, Misha, who, by the way, gave me this dragon pin.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Shout out to everybody.
Oh no, they changed this panel to here, and then we go there, and then it doesn't happen, and I have to be the one like I'm sorry. I guess the person punked us. Do you know how that feels? It doesn't feel good. It don't feel good. How hard it is for me to make 100. How much were the tickets? I think $300 and something. That's what I got for Christmas. Okay. Now I bust my ass delivering food every night when my husband gets off his real job. Okay. I did do PayPal last year. I'm not going to do that this year because everybody wants to go, so I'm not going to do that. I do have Patreon, and I have 3 of the best Patreons that there ever could or would be. And all of that money goes to paying the internet bill because I up my internet, and to buying, equipment or what. It doesn't go for suites and first class flights and whatever else the hell. I ain't living large over here.
Oh, baby girl, it's all good. We're all
and I'm not knocking anybody who does do whatever they do or whatever, but that's not me.
Right on. And so
thank you so
guys,
much, Johnny.
Everybody, thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. I love you like a sister, all you guys. And you know what? I love y'all who come to the chat. I was in the chat a lot before I was ever on the panel, and it's been awesome. So thanks. Mwah! You're great.
I love your new baby ghost. Has everybody seen pictures of John Greenhand's little I guess, is that a husky, John?
He's adorable. Baby ghost is adorable.
Ree, everybody, Ree, throw Dawg's link up, can you?
I can try.
Yeah, throw Dawg's link up.
I know.
Throw John Greenhand's link up.
Okay, hold. Well,
Anybody you can. Anybody.
I know. I'm like, whoa. You're getting above and beyond my capabilities. I don't even want
you to do Dawg and John.
Girl, I don't even want you to do more than one chapter a week. I'm like, whoa.
Well, we won't if you're that against it. You know, I like to be very thorough.
Earlier,
tidbits that you catch on a reread that you just kind of Well, I know the first time you read the books, you're like, wait a minute, who's John's mama? And you know, so much other shit is going through your head. You're not looking at little passages like, I can't give you a bride gift, but I'll give you a great sword made from dragon's fire. You know what I mean? Before 3 dragons are born, you know, you miss things like that, you know. So rereads are very important.
I just wanted to get to the next chapter.
Rereads are a must.
I thought Liana was John's mother.
I always thought that too. And I've missed a lot of stuff. Like when I saw Preston Jacobs' videos about the Dornish conspiracy, I had to reread the damn books. You know what I mean? Because I'm like,
oh yeah, that's one I reread too.
But I always thought R plus L equal J, just because of the way Ned always kind of didn't really refer to John in the first person. You know,
he didn't think about him like he did the other kids. And in a bastard sort of way, it was in a he didn't really think of him way.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Hold on. Well, and thank you. So thank you, Jennifer.
Yes, thank you guys. Have a good night, everybody.
Alpha female, wolf in the wolf den. And
John Greenhand says Riri be Dornish as fuck with her wild puns. I know, right?
I know. We all need to go over there and start swimming naked.
Yeah. Actually, we do.
But no children, no offense. I don't want to swim naked.
I'm still here. Y'all talking about just as I'm doing something.
Huh? Who? What? So is this adios? Is this?
No, not yet. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm doing something.
You know what? I want to see if I can find a clip. You know, did anybody watch Ren and Stimpy? Because I worship them. And at the end,
I mean, yeah, I used to watch it.
And then so Ren would say, "Well, it's time to go." And then Stimpy would say, "Oh, no, not the end." I used to know it by heart, and if I see it again, I'll be able to do it. But it's been a while. Time to go, and then Stimpy would say, "Oh, no, not the end." I'm echoing. I can hear myself. Yikes!
So the other day we were in the car, and I was like, "You idiot!"
I always say that one, and So how would you type that out? Because I always. When I say idiot, that's what I want to say. You idiot.
Yeah.
No, baby, that's me. Hold on, I'm doing something.
I always say that one. So I'm echoing. Sorry.
I don't hear you. I hear you.
Okay, I'm just echoing to myself.
Yeah.
Any other links y'all want?
Is that a song? Why can't I think of it?
Hold on, I got kicked out.
Oh no. I went to White Castle and I got kicked out.
Is that really a thing? No, we got to do a shot together.
Yes, we do. I've only been begging all freaking night.
Oh, I've been doing them with you all freaking night. Damn,
how come you weren't talking when you were doing it? Because I didn't get to.
I kept grabbing the bottle. You didn't see me with the damn bottle.
All right. Okay, Ree, I'm gonna twist your arm one more time.
I don't drink very often, but when I do.
But when I do, it's with Moni G.
I told you it was fire and bud tonight.
That's right.
When I drink, I'm drinking. I don't give a shit.
You know what? I don't truly believe I'm a bad influence on anybody. I think they had the badness.
Oh no, I'm a bad influence on everybody apparently, because that just seems to how I think I'm just amused. I bring out their inner wonderfulness.
People have told me if I'm a bad influence, yes, which is ridiculous, right, Jen?
So I think I'm just. I bring out my inner wonderfulness. People have told me if I'm a bad influence.
See, I hear the echo too. Is it you, Jen?
It's me because I got my computer on.
I'm plugged in. I'm plugged in. I'm muted. I'm like.
All right, hold on.
Are we done doing drinks?
No, I didn't even do one yet.
Oh, shit. Okay.
No. Absolutely not. So everybody, grab what you can grab.
All right, hold on.
If you can't grab what you love, grab what you're with. And okay, because all right, now this is embarrassing, but it's awesome. It's embarrassingly awesome. It's a jug of Fireball, which is appropriate for Daenerys.
Moni, you look like some kind of goddess with stars in your hair.
I'm trying.
No, don't
Did y'all check out my awesome shirt, Dawg Sidious?
I love your shirt, actually. I see
it's Padawan graduate, and then it has like the symbols. And we suck in my gut, and then it says, "By the force of the council, by the will of the force."
Okay.
Because
I made someone a moderator and it wouldn't
high
let
school right to the NBA.
What, darling?
They don't have to go to college.
Look at the note I'm sending you.
Who? Me? Couldn't be.
She said, I think.
Then who? I just heard that. Okay. Not okay. I know.
Fran, can you see that?
Because your daughter, I know, Ree is like even beyond this because I sent her all about the bass, right? But Super Simple Learning has some really great songs.
Oh no, it is. Never mind, it came up. Okay, right. Green. Now you can put in what you want.
Hey, Slanza, Johnny. Hooray! And I can't say that often, but I used to be stomping around in trolley.
Oh, I see.
Trilly. They're musical people. I love it there. They are. Oh. They
are.
We
drinking now? Now we can drink?
Do you know their Euro has a freaking harp on it? No, seriously. They are.
I think Jen fell off.
Oh, dear me.
How'd she fall off her own strings?
I don't know. If she doesn't come back, can we... Are we stuck here?
Certainly. We can do whatever you want, Bran.
What are you drinking?
Me.
Oh, and then my other...
You're not drinking anything, are you, Bran?
Hell no, coffee.
I think so. What are you drinking?
White. So this...
I know you're drinking that, but what are you doing shots of?
That Fireball, dude. And check
That's what I'm drinking. No shit.
Oh my God. Give me a kiss.
I love you, honey. I love you. Mwah. Mwah.
Wait, I lost you.
I'm not, seriously.
You know what? I gotta tell you something. Cinnamon whiskey fucking
Can y'all hear me?
Cinnamon whiskey rocks the Casbar, all right?
It does.
So everybody
can y'all hear me?
Rock on shotgun. Yes, Jenny. We can hear you. Only you're not Jenny. You're my Jen. You're not Jenny.
Okay, hold on just a second. I gotta get a drink. No, just I'm not the best at going out and coming back in.
That's what who said.
Okay.
I am naughty.
Let me do this.
I'm naughty.
Hey, Dawg. Are you there?
Yeah.
Dawg better
write a comment in the chat real quick, please. I can make you a mod.
Oh,
I know it's past time, but
because it was too you know how when you can't scroll up it so far. It was okay, gotcha.
Wait.
Oh.
All
right.
Wait.
All right. Okay.
Oh, that's what I was gonna go get, but we never stopped talking interestingly.
Are we still live? Still there? Yeah.
Of course. Hold on just a second.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
because
get.
everybody wants to do a drink with me.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
I'll leave the lid off. I keep drinking.
Because listen, hail,
Every time
hail,
I
the
drink,
gang's all here. What the heck do we care?
I seriously don't have any empties of food and bottles.
Haha.
Friday, that's me.
You know what? I feel empowered. It was an empowering day and an empowering evening. Thank you.
Okay, so
I got to get my
vodka drink, or no way in hell am I drinking that.
Oh my gosh! Now you just reminded me of a different song. It was a vodka drink. It was a liquor drink. It was a lager drink. I can't even remember. It's the songs that remind me of the good times, songs that remind me of the better time. But the best part of that song is pissing the night away.
Like all we have is
Pissing
some
the
VO
night
whiskey, which
away.
is two. Okay. VO whiskey, which Russell got the other day, like that. Seagram Stagnant or Jim Beam.
You know what? You go ahead and drink that because I'm gonna
without throwing up because I had a hell of a hangover in my 20s from some
but one
Seagram
shot
7 from some 7 and 7. I guess I threw up for hours, man. I can't believe that. I might have a.
Did you do 7 and 7 with 7? I say.
I didn't get a clarification on that. I didn't.
I know. You know what I'd like to pull is a Bilbo speech because that's my favorite. I like half of you as much as you deserve. But the first part's better. But I know all of you good hobbits. Oh, come on. Somebody quote it for me. Dawg, you can quote it for me. Dawg, you can. It's my 111th birthday.
I was saving this for a Bloody Mary because I like Stolies in a Bloody Mary because it's it's not my favorite vodka, but something about a Stoli Bloody Mary, it's got that bite to it.
You know what I'll tell you? Maybe. Okay, all right. Tell me this. Riddle me this. Anybody who might be from Ireland in the chat. So when I went there, seriously, Stolies was the top shelf freaking vodka.
Well, I mean, it kind of is. It's not the worst for sure.
It's not the best for sure either.
People act like Tito's is so damn good, but
I'll tell you something.
Even Goose is way more top tier than Tito's. Especially Bill.
Like shit, though. I think I like Ciroc if I want to actually.
I like Ciroc too.
Absolute.
You know what? Would you like to know who I am as a cross-addicted hero?
Huh?
I'm Absolute Woman.
I'm Absolute if I'm going cheap. I like Ciroc if I'm going to spend money on it.
I like Tito's though. I like. You know when I do drink, I like
fucking Ciroc.
I like my lips to get numb.
Well,
I like that Tito's soda with lime juice.
You know what? Like I said earlier, you don't have to drink, but when you do drink,
Peter Griffin says, "Don't say Bloody Mary 3 times in front of a mirror." Oh my God!
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
That's the game and a sleepover.
You know what? Okay.
Out in the dark by the woods, it's all creepy and shit.
You know what?
You guys want to know what
we did do.
They go get in the bathroom and say Bloody Mary and spin around. And they all think they see something, but it's you just psyching yourself out.
No.
Scratch each other trying to get out the damn door.
I remember doing
all right, Irish friend. But I'm just saying, so one time it was my 13th birthday party. I got to have all my friends over, but I went to a parochial school, so there was only 7 girls in all 7th and 8th grade. So I invited them all over, and we did light as a feather, stiff as a board, where you do your 2 fingers under everybody.
Yeah.
And we raised her up to here. I'm not lying. Her face turned totally white. True story.
Yep. That's some slumber party shit right there. Yeah.
But okay, like how funny would that be? Oh no.
And there went your camera all crazy.
And there and hello. Sorry.
Oh.
But like, yeah, it was scary. So we should do that now when I weigh like a bazillion pounds more. Then we know it's real. But at the time he did. So anyways, Johnny, yes. But could you, not that I'll ever see you again, but I'm just saying, get it through a friend of a friend of a friend and tell me when you ever go to a pub again. If I was gonna order my friend,
that's a quote from somebody.
If I was gonna order,
I don't know half as you as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you as well as you deserve. That's a quote from somebody very famous.
Yeah.
Bilbo Bag.
Did you type that out? Who said that?
John Greenhand.
Yeah, but that's a quote from somebody else, I believe.
Johnny.
Who said that,
That's Bilbo Baggins at his 111th
at his birthday.
Yeah, that's
me
my
and Russell
favorite.
were just watching that the other day.
You're not
John
getting old.
says, after I argued with a priest about morality, I relaxed on drinking spirits. Just beers for me, laugh aloud. You know what, though, Johnny? What I've noticed,
I just want you to say, if I was going to,
are just like people. Like some of them are assholes, some of them are cool. You know, just like teachers. Some of them suck, some of them are great, like Moni. It's just, you know.
Wait a minute. Wait. Oh, teaching. Okay, yeah, I do kick ass. I didn't know what you were talking about. Yeah, no, I'm great all the time. Sure, what? But no. Not really, but I'm just saying. So, but just as a friend, just say, if I was gonna order a top shelf vodka for my friend, what could I get her?
Well, get me Belvedere when we're at the con.
I'm just saying. Hey, I'm not saying I'm buying any top shelf liquor, bitch. You said you like Smirnoff. You said you like Smirnoff, so I'm thinking I could pass off $5.
No, I like Smirnoff and a Bloody Mary, is what I said.
Well, that's when you'll be drinking them.
Drink Tito's or Grey Goose or Belvedere. But Tito's is kind of a middle of the range. That's more affordable.
Okay, I believe that we've pushed the limits and my shot's getting warm. So up to it, down to it. Anyway, you get to it. Here's to finish the book to it. And here's to Lady Wolverton. It's not just her name, y'all. It's the name of her freaking den. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dawg, thank you again. I know, especially on this show, we're a little bit more relaxed and we go off on crazy tangents. But I just like to think of this as a conversation amongst friends and not like a lecture.
With a whole lot of
the best at Game of Thrones. We just love it.
No, it's a book club.
And thank you guys, seriously.
And with that, you guys, it's 10:18. We've already gone 18 minutes over what we usually do. Everybody has a real life. Everybody has real stuff. We're going to let y'all go with that. Everybody have a great week. Next week, Thursday, 8 Central, Prologue, Clash of Kings. And with that, I'll let everybody take us out, starting with our guest, Dawg Sidious, going down the line.
Thank you for coming.
Plug your channel, plug your Twitter. And I'll make sure, if you will accept my invitation on Hangouts or do me on Hangouts and send me anything you want in the description, I'll add those links.
Do me, baby.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm real simple, folks. Dawg doesn't do Facebook or Twitter or I'm right on YouTube. The Dawg Show, and that's where I live pretty much, is on YouTube.
If you
right now I'm doing daily Dog Days of History. So I'll be getting ready to rock that out here shortly, as we'll get into March 1st today. And I do the highlights on history.
You guys and I love your show.
And the thought of the day too, as well. So, yeah. So
yeah, I dug it.
It's a fun thing. It's a real fun thing, especially if you're a history buff. But then it also ties in. You know, like I love the way you do the box office stuff.
Yeah, I do those on Mondays too. I try to put those out on Mondays as well.
Because I like to hear it from somebody I know. I don't want to hear the opinion of, you know, Joe Blow from whatever conglomerate magazine. I want to hear it from somebody I know who is a true, you know, who enjoys the same type of shows and books I do. And that way, you know, you hadn't steered me wrong so far. But if you would hang out me under Lady Wolverton's Den, or either Jennifer Wolverton, your YouTube link and your email address. And let me go ahead and add that in the description later for future people, because I want them to see what we all see, and that you have a great channel. And
and always
come in, and I think you're only going to get bigger and bigger. And I just thank you so much for
and add a comment,
for
thumbs up,
for guesting on this channel. I really appreciate it. All right, Moni, you want to tell us about yourself? And I'm still waiting on you to send me your links.
My links on the golf course. I am Moni G. I'm on G+, which is about to go away, and I guess it's gonna come back meaner and more restricted than ever. One of these days, maybe I'll grow up and start making my own videos, but I don't know about that. So like I hang out with Jen, and I go into other people's chats, and you know, I love to rock out with the Beatles with Dawg. He totally hung out with me all night. I love cartoons and everything else. So you guys, it's always fun. If you like friend me in like the little YouTube friendly little thingy doodle, that's cool. That's how Rhea and I talk. Because I don't do Facebook and all that other stuff. Or, you know, and honestly, I don't get on Hangouts. Right now, it's been a really stressful year. And I haven't been very social, and I apologize. So, but you guys are my sunshine. So thank you. And thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. I love you, Moni G.
With
you're one
all
of my favorite
my heart,
fucking
I love
people.
you, girl. I love you.
You are.
And I love all you too.
I'm going to get my hair dye red tomorrow because I'm copying you. Don't be mad.
Yeah.
Don't be mad.
Single white female. Well, she's married white female. All right.
All right, Brian, you go ahead and read. I'm going to let you take us out because I know because you can do shout outs and everything. You just you're the
okay. Well, don't forget Brian. Let Brian go.
No, Brian, I'm going to let you take us out.
Brian.
So thank you, Dawg, for coming in, and thank you, Jen, for doing this, because it's really, really awesome. And I know it takes a lot of hard work to do it every single week and prepare every single week, and you've been doing it for a long time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bubba, for introducing me to Jen's book club from the get-go.
Thank you, Bubba. I didn't even know that. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone on the panel. Everyone's been awesome. All the guests we've had, everything's real cool.
Thank you so much, Brian. I love you, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, y'all. And it's one thing to be friends on the internet, but it's another thing to meet in person. I had the pleasure of not only meeting Kerri, but Brian and their significant others over the holidays. The best time I've ever had at a Ruby Tuesdays. Hands fucking down, okay?
Hands fucking down, yes.
Right, and there's more where that come from, okay? Dawg, one day we're going to go eat at a Ruby Tuesdays, a TGI Fridays, an Applebee's, or an Outback. Bet. All right, Ree, take us out, baby girl.
Okay. You want me to do shout outs real quick?
Do shout outs. Do everything.
Okay. Of course, we got Doug. We got.
You don't know how many times I get snubbed.
You got snubbed?
Snubbed. SNUB.
Okay. Well, we got John. I'm just pulling up what it's showing me now. We know we had Elma earlier.
We did.
We got Matt hanging with us still. Moni, of course, is here with us. Who else is still here? Peter Griffin. He's always so much fun. I love Peter. He's great. Nancy T. She's so sweet. Hey, Nancy, how you doing tonight? Bubba Husky. He's always funny too. And I'm going through. I'm trying to look for ones that are not us too. Nancy, I already said Nancy. Terry was with us too, and anybody else. I forgot. If I forgot you, I'm sorry, but I just went through what I just pulled up right now. And yeah, you guys have a good time. Thank you so much, Jen. It has been a great time doing this whole book. Cause yeah,
thank you for joining the team, because sometimes when people just go separate ways and things don't work out. And I have to say to myself, am I going to have to go on by myself? And it's come close. But I tell you what, I'm from Mississippi. Pride won't let me give up that easy. But y'all don't know, like when y'all say that I do this every Thursday, y'all don't know how many times I have not wanted to go on, like something's been going on, or I feel like somebody in the community's mad at me and it's going to say something ugly or whatever, and I push through, and it makes me feel so much better. And all you can do is keep keeping on, and do your best. So just thank you for joining the team.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jen, and I have been here. I started following it from the beginning, and you were the one that finally got me to go on. The only other person that would have got me to go on, and he was really close, was Johnny. And he was really, really close. He probably could have got me if he had asked me just one more time. But you got me before him. And I'm glad I did. You just gave me that little push. And then even when I felt down and just wasn't in the mood, you got me to do it. And it got me just where
I remember that one stream I taught you to do when you really hadn't been feeling good.
Yeah.
I promise if you do it, it'll give you a little boost.
It does, and I love talking about it, and it's like my favorite stuff. And I love the people that I talk about it with, and it just makes me feel good, no matter how bad I feel. So, and I thank you, and I thank everybody around, and I'm so glad I'm done with the first book, and I'm excited to move on to the next one. Because guess what?
I am too. I'm excited to have some new characters. In the next book, we get different characters than we've had.
And
I just want to say, everybody, thank you for even spending 1 minute in this stream with me anytime, because I know how precious time is. Okay?
Time is something that is precious, but don't worry, Jen, because you're never alone. Don't ever forget that. We always got your back.
Thank you. A real good support system, We love you.
Definitely.
Love you too. Love y'all. All right. And with that, everybody have the best weekend ever. Everybody in this chat, everybody who stopped by tonight, everybody on this panel, so much love for everybody in this community. Y'all have a great weekend, and we'll see y'all next Thursday. Prologue of Clash of Kings.